on YouTube? So it is that time for my Super Bowl prediction, Super Bowl 50, and just to recap what happened last week. So for my predictions, if you guys watched them, I had the Panthers losing to the Cardinals, and then I had the Broncos beating the Patriots, so I was 1-1 on my predictions. Obviously, one was drastically more wrong than the other, and the final scores I had were 28-27 Arizona, and then 28-20, or 31, it was either 28-24 31-28. I'd have to actually go back and watch the videos to see that. But again, wanted to just recap what happened with the conference championship really quickly. So if you guys didn't see, I'm assuming most of you did, especially if you're watching this video, Broncos beat the Patriots 20-18, and really was a pretty good game. Broncos almost had it, lost on a 2-point conversion. So one of my biggest keys I said for the Broncos was for C.J. Anderson and Ronnie Hillman to get at least 125 yards on the ground, and while they did not get that, C.J. Anderson was pretty big. He ended up rushing for about 4.5 yards per carry, including one big rush in the third quarter for, I believe it was 30 yards. And I think that that's going to be another key for this week, but again, move more into that when I actually talk about the actual prediction. And really it seemed like it was a long day for Tom Brady. Had 56 pass attempts and only completed about 48% of them, completed 27 pass attempts. The run game was not present at all. Tom Brady actually led in rushing yards with 13. And just not a great day as a whole for the Patriots. I actually didn't know this. They had signed Steven Jackson. It had been a while since I had seen him in the NFL, but apparently he got 4 carries for 8 yards as well. A long day for James White. Had a few good receptions. He's normally a pretty good receiving running back, but also had some big plays that he really just missed out on. Not a very big day for Brandon Bolden either. Gronk had a very good day, but in the end there was actually an interview where he blamed himself for the loss. Alright, so recap, the Cardinals-Panthers game was not nearly as close, 49-15. The Panthers emerged victorious. So Carson Palmer threw 4 interceptions, really did not have a good day. Cam Newton threw for 335 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, and also tacked on another 47 yards and 2 touchdowns on the ground. So obviously big day for Cam Newton. Jonathan Stewart had a good day as well, 19 carries for 83 yards, 4.4 yards per carry. And Corey Brown actually stepped up in a big way for 4 receptions for 113 yards and 1 touchdown, including the 86-yard touchdown reception. Greg Olsen also had 6 receptions for 113 yards and no touchdowns. So obviously just an absolute walloping. Carson Palmer had a terrible game. The Cardinals as a whole just could not stop turning the ball over, a whopping 7 turnovers, 4 of which came by interception. Another one came by way of a Patrick Peterson fumble off a punt return that set up Cam Newton for a pretty easy touchdown run. So actually move into my predictions now. So again, going to do the same way as my conference championship videos. I'm going to do basically the 3 keys for each team, and then I'll move into my actual prediction. So for the Panthers, start with the first one, this win the turnover battle. I mean, not only did they win it, but they just absolutely demolished the turnover battle this week. Like I said, this past week against the Cardinals, 7 turnovers to only 1 for the Panthers. And I mean, obviously, I don't think that's going to happen again next week. Peyton Manning has been a little bit turnover prone this year, so I think they can take advantage of that. But I think that I also think that Peyton Manning looked pretty good this week. I believe had 156 yards and 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, so that was good. Obviously, still underthrowing a little bit. I mean, it's just that stage in his career. So if he is still underthrowing, and especially around Josh Norman, or even Luke Kuechly has proved that he can intercept the ball quite a bit this year, then I think it would be a long day for Peyton Manning if he's not very accurate. I don't think it's going to be something that turns out like the 2014 Super Bowl, but I could still see it being, like I said, a long day for Peyton Manning. So moving to my second key, and that is Cam Newton, 1 pass and then 1 rush touchdown at least. So I think that it's going to be a big thing for Cam Newton to show his dual threat ability in this game, a lot like he did against the Cardinals, where you're able to keep the Broncos pressure back a little bit. Broncos were able to hit Tom Brady 23 times, which was, I believe, around 10 more, maybe 11 more than he had been hit at any point previously this season. And really what had been a solid Patriots offensive line this year looked like absolute shit. And if the Panthers can just kind of replicate that in this game, then it's going to be a long day. But if Cam Newton can, make sure that guys like Von Miller, Derek Wolfe actually stick back a little bit, have to stay in their lanes, maybe play a little bit of quarterback contain, don't just pin their ears back and rush straight for the quarterback, then I think it'll give Newton a little bit more time. The pass rush won't be as heavy, and then it kind of eliminates one of the best parts of the Broncos' defense. I think the third key, and this might be one of the biggest ones overall, including just ones that I guess I haven't thought of, and that is Corey Brown, Devin Funchess, and Ted Ginn step up again. So Ted Ginn had a big day, had that 22-yard touchdown run. Devin Funchess wasn't really looked at that much, but I think a big day from him in the Super Bowl can really just give the Panthers a much-needed boost that really comes out of nowhere. And then Corey Brown, if he can have another big day like he had, then, again, I think it just goes very much to the Panthers' benefit. Alright, so moving my three keys for the Broncos. First one is for Peyton Manning to have a completion percentage above 55%, and then also more touchdowns than turnovers. So like I said, you give the Panthers the opportunity with a large amount of turnovers, they're going to take advantage. Now, obviously, Peyton Manning, even though he had a good day today, I don't know exactly what the completion percentage was. I believe he was 17 for 32. Yeah, so he was above 50%. I think that's close to 52 or 53%. But I think it's still going to have to be a little bit better. He was around 59-60% this year. But again, as a whole this year, he did have more turnovers than touchdowns. So obviously that's something that's going to be important. My second one is for C.J. Anderson and Ronnie Hillman to have 100-plus yards on the ground. So like I said, the Broncos had 99 rushing yards total this week, and between C.J. Anderson and Ronnie Hillman, I think they had 88. It might have been 90. Let me see that right quick. But actually, yeah, it 88. So again, I think this is a very important key. I think it's going to be important to make the Panthers recognize that there's going to be multiple threats from this Broncos offense. And Anderson and Hillman have been pretty solid down the stretch this year. That's going to need to continue. And again, just take some of the pressure off having to make Peyton Manning make all the throws, which I really don't know if he can make anymore. And the third one is to have 3+ sacks on Cam Newton. So like I said, it was a massive day for the entire Broncos rush defense. Von Miller was an absolute monster. DeMarcus Ware was an absolute monster getting in the backfield. Like I said, Derek Wolfe had a good day as well. Not only that, the safeties were very, very, very big in this game. Chris Harris on that 4th down with Julian Edelman, making tackles, staying home, and being committed to making that tackle and getting it done. That was big. And I think that while he won't have a whole lot of an effect in the pass rush, the safeties are obviously going to have to play solid as well. And really just for Von Miller, DeMarcus Ware, Derek Wolfe, all those guys, just keep doing your thing. I mean, I don't think they're going to be able to get to Newton as much as they got to Brady. Obviously, Newton's a little bit more fleet of foot, but at least somewhat continue what you were able to do this past week. I believe they had 4 sacks. Correct me if I'm wrong there. Might have been more, but a lot of the times Brady was able to get the pass off. But it is time for me to move into my prediction. And before I say that, the spread right now is the Panthers by 3.5. It's floated between Panthers by 3.5 and then Panthers by 4. And I think they will beat the spread. I think it will be Carolina 27, Denver 20. Now again, I'm not going to... I learned my lesson about doubting the Panthers. I really didn't doubt them. I thought that Arizona was going to come... I didn't know Arizona was going to fold to 10th the way they did. But like I said, I think a lot of people didn't see that coming. And yeah, I had faith in the Broncos, and they were able to come through for me. I think the game's going to be exactly like a lot of people think it's going to turn out. I haven't said that a whole lot this year, but I think that's what it's going to be. I think it's going to be, a good game. I don't think it's going to be like Super Bowl 48 where the Broncos just got murdered by the Seahawks. I think the Seahawks defense, no disrespect to the Panthers defense, but that Seahawks defense that year was an all-time great defense. This year's Panthers defense, while very, very good, I don't know if you'd call them an all-time great defense. They do lead. One thing I want to point out about the Panthers defense is they do lead in overall turnovers and almost every category of turnover. I also think they lead the league in sacks this year. Cam Newton also leads the league in total touchdowns. So, a few things to keep in mind there. But again, I had the Panthers beating the Broncos 27-20. I do think it'll be a fun game to watch. It is 2 weeks away. We still got the Pro Bowl in between, but not something that a whole lot of people like to watch. But yeah, so like I said, if you do want to go back and see the details I said about the Broncos and Patriots games, I'll put them in the outro. But besides that, that's pretty much it. So yeah. What is going on, YouTube? So come back with my NFC Championship preview. So just got done with my AFC Championship preview. If you haven't seen that, go check that out. So doing the same format as I do for my college videos, or my college football videos. Like I said in the last video as well,